What's up, FHN?
I'm Parker.
And I'm Jackson, and thanks for tuning in to this week's episode of The Nightly Show.
That's right, Jackson. I don't know if you've noticed, but we've been starting to get some spring weather here and there, and I love it.
It's getting warmer, and you know what that means. Final quarter of the 2022-2023 school year.
Definitely time to start cracking down on homework and getting those grades up.
And for us seniors, applying to college should be on the top of our priority list.
Yeah, and if you need some help on where to apply and how to apply, here's Om with some more information.
Seniors here at FHN Saale North and all around the United States have just finished or are about to finish working on their college applications. The application process tends to be difficult for some, while easier for others. Here's a listen on what students here at FHN feel like about the college application process.
I'm interested in going to University of North Carolina. That's one of my top decisions. Most of the schools that I applied to were early decision, just the fact that I could get the decision earlier rather than waiting towards March.
I don't think it was stressful to apply early because it's more of just like submitting your application. The more stressful part for me, I would say, was getting scholarships done by their deadlines. Common App
came out early, around like August, so my parents were pushing me to do it a little early. So when I had to do that plus schoolwork, it was a lot of work combined. So I felt like it was beneficial to do all of that at once.
The College and Career Counselor, Brooke Prestige, can give aid to students with the college application process when they are struggling or confused. Here are some words of advice from her.
Basically anything they're wanting to do after high school, I just help them with whatever they need help with.
I feel like early action was a good decision because once you're finished with your applications, then you're somewhat done.
I think early action is beneficial. I do not encourage students to apply early decision unless they know for sure that that school is their top choice and that they can afford that school. Some tips for the underclassmen. The most important thing really is for them to just be researching what they're interested in and kind of where they see themselves going after high school. Everyone talks about college, but there's a lot of good opportunities that don't require starting off at college. So I just encourage students to really research what is the best fit for them and take into consideration what's the best financial fit for them as well. And then also just maintaining good grades. That's going to be a huge step. If you have a good GPA, that's going to open up a lot of doors for you.
If students ever need help with anything college-related or after high school's plans-related, they can always go talk to Mrs. Prestige in the guidance office, or they can research on their own through Google.
Not too much time left to apply, so you better get on that soon, seniors.
Yeah, but don't stress yourself out too much. It's important to leave high school on a good note.
I'll do my best, but there's a lot of hard tests coming up soon.
Exactly. I wish we didn't have to take them, but, it's a requirement.
Some students have stronger opinions than that. Here's Jack Darling with why standardized testing should be abolished.
Standardized tests like the ACT and the SAT are a staple of measuring intelligence in the educational system today. After 2002's No Child Left Behind Act mandated annual testing in all 50 states, their use has skyrocketed and so has their prevalence and the stresses of students. While many people are beginning to question the necessity of these tests, they are still seen as one of the most important factors for college admission.
Well, a lot of colleges and scholarships use it, so both for acceptance and, like I said, for scholarship money, so it can benefit them as far as getting accepted to a school if their GPA is not where it needs to be, and then again, if they're trying to get some big scholarship money, it is still tied to that for a lot of colleges.
According to Forbes, ACT scores have dropped to their lowest point in 30 years. Add that to how thousands of colleges are starting to accept test-optional applications, and you can see that people see problems with them.
I think it's not a proper measure of a student's academic ability, and I think like a grade point average or extracurricular things that the student does should have a greater impact than a score on a huge standardized test that can't even really properly study for.
I think standardized testing is negative because it is one test that is used for college acceptance and scholarships, and that puts a lot of pressure on students to perform well on this long 4-hour test. It's supposed to be a predictor of how they will do in college, but I know that that's not the case. A lot of students have test anxiety and they may not do as well on the test as they can in their college classes. The only thing I want to say is even though colleges are test optional, I do think students should still at least attempt the test and do their best on it because if you do well, it can only benefit you.
Couldn't agree more, guys. Maybe take that up with the school board and see what happens.
Recently, we've had one of the most anticipated games of the year drop.
That's right. Hogwarts Legacy is a brand new Harry Potter game that just dropped, and it's been talked about for the last couple months, and I cannot wait to get my hands on it.
I don't think I'm going to go for it. I'm going to stick with the classic games.
Hey, I don't blame you. I think Taylor would have the same opinion. She plays some pretty cool games.
Here's a video from Taylor. Take it away.
Hello everyone, my name is Taylor Saale, and this is a review on indie game Cult of the Lamb. In this video, I am going to go over what's in the game, any issues, and if it is worth the money. So let's get started. So, what's in the game? So the main storyline of the game is you are a lamb that was saved from death by a banished god. I know, pretty average. And to repay them, you must start a cult in their name and defeat the 4 gods trapping them. So with your only option being yes, it is time to start your cult. You only start out with a singular follower though. But how, oh how do you get more, you ask? By going on crusades to the different worlds. These crusades let you get new followers, materials, and money, but that does not mean your job is done as a leader. You have to make sure faith is high, your followers are fed, and that there is good sanitation. As leader, you can do a variety of things such as placing decor in new buildings, declaring doctrines, performing rituals, and completing tasks given to you by your followers. Except that one, because Lacey is my dog. So no, Max. Just no. Well then, let's move on to my critiques of the game. Now my critiques are based on the Switch port. I don't know of any bugs or issues that could be prominent on the PC, PlayStation, or Xbox ports, so let me just cut straight to the point. The Switch port has some issues. From my gameplay alone, I've seen lag when entering back to my cult, colors or images not being loaded in, and even getting soft locked by trying to do a ritual. Now from what I've heard is that the team who made the game has been doing bug fixes, so hopefully these issues do get resolved, but besides bug issues, the game does have a big flaw. The game never evolves from the very beginning. It never changes and doesn't bring up any new mechanics later in the game that honestly makes you feel like there's something missing. But with all that is wrong and right with this game, is it worth the price of $25? And I'm going to say it depends in all honesty. If you are a fan of a slightly roguelike game, then by all means go for it. But if this is not your type of game, then it's not one I would recommend. But it is worth the $20 for all the game gives you. I would rate Cult of the Lamb a 3.5 stars out of 5.
Great review as always, Taylor.
And that's all the time we have this week on The Nightly Show.
Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and be sure to follow our FHN Today socials for more content.
And also be sure to follow FHN Game Day on Instagram and TikTok to stay up to date with FHN Sports.
Once again, I'm Parker.
And I'm Jackson.
Signing off.